everything I've talked about, you know, over the last few months and years, getting in shape, going out there and making money, being smarter, being more intelligent, dealing with people better, handling your relationships better, isn't something that you can learn from me. It's simply me telling you to work on yourself in certain ways. And so many millions of people have written me and my brother and told us about the positive impacts that we've had on their lives. And we really appreciate that. So this is a statement that my brother has sent me that he'd like me to read out to end this cigar meeting live. Millions of people never analyze themselves. Mentally, they are mechanical products of the factory of their environment, preoccupied with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, working and sleeping, and going here and there to be entertained. They don't know what or why they are seeking, nor why they never realize complete happiness and lasting satisfaction. By evading self-analysis, people go on being robots, conditioned by their environment. True self-analysis is the greatest art of progress.
I don't think I found my purpose in life until I was 32. So I feel like my purpose in life now is to set a good example for young men in a world that doesn't have any good examples. But I don't think everyone is going to reach that level of enlightenment with their mission. Mm-hmm. And I don't think everyone should, because when I was 28, when I was 29, I was very happy. I was perfectly happy, having not found what my purpose in life is. And you know what? I may think I know my purpose in life now. When I'm 40, I may realize it was actually something else and find something else. No, I don't believe life has to be a purpose. I just believe in making sure that you are happy and making sure that that happiness is spread as much as possible to the people you interact with and the people around you. That is a way to live a fulfilling life. You don't have to have a mission to live a fulfilling life, or a purpose. You know, you could live, you know, basically by yourself your whole life. But if you really enjoy yourself and you really enjoy this trip around the sun that we're all taking, and everywhere you go, you're polite and you're nice and you're kind, who cares that you didn't impact the world? You know, you don't need a purpose.
And yeah, to use a very famous slogan, I really hope that somebody can make America great again. It's a very good slogan, but even I haven't liked the United States in a long time. I go to the United States, I feel unsafe. I feel unsafe walking around the streets. I see the pandemic of homelessness and drug use, and I'm like, how is this the capital? How is this the capital of the free world? I look at the leadership. It just makes me sick on every level. So, yeah, the Middle East is the place to be for now. Maybe one day, in 20 years' time, America will be the place to be again. And as an American citizen, I'm hopeful for the United States. I am hopeful for it. But it's people like you who are fighting the good fight, so I appreciate you a lot. And there are very few men who I'll ever meet who I'll say I admire you or I'm a fan of yours. But I will say that to your face right now on camera.
Well, I appreciate it.
I admire you a lot.
Have you always played the number two role? Like, you know, in monarchical times, it was always the eldest son that was passed down to the crown. From your father down to Andrew to you, has it always been an understanding, all right, I'm number two, my brother's the leader, let me get in line, let's crush it?
You know what, I don't feel it's necessarily like that. I feel it's more that I know what his strengths are, and I'm there to compensate for his weaknesses. He knows what my strengths are, and I'm there to compensate for his weaknesses. So who's the leader and who's not all depends on the situation that we're in. Certainly me and Andrew have been a team a very long time, and we made a lot of money before we ever blew up on the internet. Our relationship was a lot more equal then, but Andrew is the famous one. I'm fully aware that he's the guy who will go in front of the camera and say the types of things or voice his opinions in a way that garner infamy and fame. And I've blown up alongside him.
When I was young and flat broke, because people will say, oh, you pay for the Ubers, or maybe I'll even get a girl a flight ticket to come to Bucharest, to come to my house and see me. And people will say, that's simping. I'm like, well, you know, for the price of the flight ticket, you don't know what I'm getting. Right. But when I was young and broke, there was obviously no gold digging involved. I didn't have, I slept on a mattress on the floor. But if a girl was coming around to see me at night, I'd pay for her taxi. My last 5, 6, 7 pounds, because, you know, it's 7 pounds and I get 8 hours of entertainment. Right. So, again, it's a very fair exchange of value. And I think that if you want to act tough and, you know, hold frame and ask a girl to split a bill, or make a girl pay for her own taxi and don't even offer. If she does go to bed with you, she's a low quality woman. She's just some dickhead hoe who would do anything for dick.
Right.
And some guys may get laid that way, but you certainly wouldn't with the quality of women that I hang out with.
Have you got any advice for 21-year-olds who, I guess, seem pretty lost and they don't really know which direction to go in? What would you offer to those guys in terms of advice?
Oh, I've got loads of pieces of advice. Loads. If you don't know what to do, don't go to university.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. If you know what you want to do and you need a university degree to do it, then obviously pursue that. If you don't know what you want to do, going to university is going to burn 3 or 4 years of your time and likely get you into a bunch of debt and a bunch of trouble that you don't need. If you don't know what you're doing, avoid university. Step number 1. 2, young men who are lost. What can I say? Don't waste
time.
Yeah, don't waste time on frivolous pursuits. Stop trying to live like the man unless you've actually become the man first. And that means women. Stop trying to get laid all the time and get beautiful women. Because if you are a nobody, the time and effort it's going to take into convincing a really beautiful woman to go to bed with you is much less time than it would take me or Mike. Because we are a somebody already. So you're burning your hours. Don't chase women too much. Don't chase having fun too much. Don't chase clout too much. Don't try to be seen in cool places that you can't actually afford to be in. Dubai is actually a very interesting example of this. I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent here, but that's all good advice. It's simple. Dubai is a very good example of this because Dubai is a place where people can look like they're doing something big when they're doing absolutely nothing at all. Mm-hmm. There are hotels in Dubai, like the hotels I stay at, that are 1, 2, 3 grand a day, 10 grand a day. They do exist. And there are also hotels in Dubai up near the old town where, the laborers and the workers stay that cost $35, $40, $50 a day. That does happen. You could fly to Dubai, and people do this. Men do this with no money because men don't have the ability to just, hit dating apps in Dubai and live the good life. They come to Dubai with their friends. They have no money in their pockets. They have a nice shirt that they'll wear, fine. And they'll take a taxi from their really cheap hotel down to downtown, picture in front of the Burj Khalifa, click. Picture in front of a Lamborghini, click. Now they're a guy with a picture in front of a Lamborghini in Dubai. They're a guy who hangs out in Dubai now. He's at the Burj Khalifa. He makes less than $1,000 a month, probably. People do this. They literally clout chase based on location. And that is the biggest waste of time that I've ever heard of. Go on a vacation within your budget and have fun with your friends, by all means, and take your mind off trying to be somebody. But yeah, people pretend too hard today. And the effort it takes to pretend short term will make you look richer or cooler or more successful than you are. But if you take all the time that you spend pretending and actually invest it into trying to become what you're pretending to be, you'll get there. Yeah. But it will take, again, 3, 4, 5 years, and people don't want to do it.
Dubai has everything. It's a wonderful place. The United Arab Emirates is a wonderful place. And Saudi Arabia has opened up recently. And give it 5, 6, 7 years, they've got the money. Saudi Arabia is going to have nice, clean, beautiful, pretty, safe cities that every millionaire or billionaire in the world can enjoy. And they can go there and enjoy the amenities and live their life without the threat of some psychopath on the subway trying to attack you. And then if you defend yourself, what happens to you? Maybe 20 years, we're about to find out. In 2 cases. It's sickening. So I think that and I'll give the credit to religion. I'll give the credit to the Islamic faith. They don't want that bullshit in their country. They don't want their kids being taught immorality in the schools. So if you want to have kids and you're a very busy man, maybe your wife's very busy too, and you want a comfortable environment where you know that your kids can go to school and learn things like math and history and geography. I know, crazy, right? Without drag queens reading stories to them, you can go to the Middle East and be assured of what's happening to your children, to your family, in your home, on your streets. I get the massive push. I get it. And there are different places in the world, like America was, hopefully will be again, but certainly was in the 70s and 80s, when people from even this country right here, which was a shithole back then, wanted to go to America, see the Statue of Liberty, come across on a boat, start a new life for themselves, live the American dream. I feel like the dream of the West is dying. And people are just like, well, where can I live the dream? What's the dream? Nice, happy life, beautiful wife, healthy kids, good health care, safe, schools are fine, mass crime doesn't exist, drug use isn't prevalent. It's crazy that that's now the dream, isn't it? Isn't it sad? What's happened?
So the jail experience, it wasn't good, but it was interesting. And I took jail in a very strange way. I feel like if you're gonna walk around the world running your mouth all the time about what you are and what you think you are, eventually something's gonna come along in the world and test you. If you walk around saying I'm the baddest man on the planet, I can beat anyone up on earth. One day someone in the street is gonna be like, you're the guy who thinks he can beat anyone up and punch your lights out. You know, I don't speak as much as Andrew, but I do say I'm a very strong-minded person. I always preach to young men, if you're going through hardships, you need to deal with it like a man, continue your training, stay focused. And it just felt like God gave me an opportunity to prove to myself, above all else, as well as to everyone else who listens to me, that I am actually what I say I am. So coming out of jail, I'm almost grateful for the experience, as hellish as the environment was.
As hellish as the environment was, you were grateful for it.
Yeah, I'm grateful that my life has been very, very easy for the last 6 or 7 years. I retired from professional fighting when I was 28. The last sad thing that I guess happened to me was my father passing when I was 26 and a half. So I'm 34 now, I'm coming up 35. These things happened a very long time ago. I've increased in wealth, I've increased in fame. I fly around the world doing whatever I like, driving whatever car I like, staying wherever I like, sleeping wherever I like, going, it's been such an amazing experience that I haven't tested myself for real in a very long time. So yeah, grateful for the experience.
Some strengths and things he does that the rest of the world doesn't see that you know.
Andrew is the hardest working man I've ever met. Even with the lifestyle he lives now, and as fun as it looks, and it is fun, and all the fun shit we do is real. Even if we are in a luxury hotel in the south of France where you're paying $10,000 per room, Andrew will be up at 7 o'clock in that hotel gym. He'll message me at 8:30. I'll wake up next to God knows who. Whiskey spilled all over the desk. But again, that inspires me. And he'll be like, emergency meeting in my room. Emergency meeting, you always say that. So I'll go to his room. So
the whole world is aware of these emergency meetings.
And he'll bring up tiny issues with the business that, I could have slept on quite happily. But again, it's like me doing the exercise when he won't. It pushes me to be a better person. And Andrew will happily work 15, 16 hours a day and then go out and spend 4 or 5 hours having fun and blowing loads of money. It doesn't come from the sky. It's not magic. We're not trust fund kids. We didn't win the lottery. He is the hardest working man I have ever met. And the fact that I can even live with him and try to keep up is a testament to me, because it's difficult,
Exactly. So you have to make life hard for yourself, because no one else is going to do it. No one else. I'm certainly not going to come into your room at 7:30 and kick your door down and say, I don't know what your name is, Steven from Los Angeles. It's time to get your life in order. Let's get up. Let's hit the gym. You're not going to, I don't care about you. No one cares about you that much. You should care about yourself that much. And in which case you can't let women make you feel too comfortable, because it's not something they do on purpose to stop us, but I feel like it's a woman's natural instinct to want as much of your energy as possible.
Yeah.
And she's happiest when she gets the most energy from you as possible. A woman wants nothing more than you to be at home with her all day long, talking to her all day long, watching movies with her all day long, and have sex with her 5 times a day. That's a woman's dream. And you know what? By all means, do that once you have $100 million. But don't do it now.
Well, you just have to understand that in life you can't do it alone. And you have to form some sort of team if you're going to get anywhere. You have to have good men around you and good friends around you. Every king had generals. Every soldier had the soldier to his left and right. Every single person who's won any great battle or any great victory or any great moral victory didn't do it by himself. He had other people with him. So if you're born with a man and you have exactly the same blood, exactly the same interests, the same last name, you have to be fighting for the exact same things. You can go your separate ways if you like. If you really hate your brother, if you really hate members of your family, I understand. But I don't see who else there was in life, especially many years ago when I didn't know anyone, to team up with. So we've just always been a team. And we've never even thought about it, never planned it. It just naturally happened. I think that's what God made brothers for. If a girl offers to split the bill, which they don't, but if a girl does offer to split the bill, it means I see you as my friend. This is not a date.
Right.
So if a woman ever says, hey, can I pay for half the drinks, that means, Tristan, I'm not interested. I only see you as a friend.
It's a defense mechanism, I'd say.
So you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just friends. That's what you're trying to signal.
You're putting yourself in the friend zone.
By telling her to split the bill with you, which is stupid. It's very stupid. And let's be honest, not a lot of guys go to the places I go. What's splitting the bill? $30, $40?
Right.
And you're seriously going to try and impress me with this bullshit, I made her split the bill. Yeah, I guarantee you didn't do anything else with her that night.
I ran a business with my brother that failed before I was 21 years old. That qualified me more to run a successful business than anyone who from age 18 to 23 studied business at university for 5 years and got a master's in business. Me, having run my one failed company, was more qualified to run a successful company after that than they were. Because the person who they learned from at university doesn't run successful companies. It's just a bunch of book learning. It's a bunch of theory that isn't really applicable to real business, in my opinion.
You know, when you're a high net worth individual, the way things are owned is very tricky. You know, you don't want, no high net worth individual has everything in his name. Let's just put it that way. But it's complicated the way things are owned. So sometimes people will ask me, there'll be 5 cars on the drive, and, girls especially who are naive to these things will be like, which ones are yours and which ones are Andrew's? My honest answer is I don't actually know. I have to look at the papers to work out exactly what, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The keys are in this box in that room, and we can drive them whenever we like. And we never argue because there's so many. And when you build that abundance and you build yourself to the level of wealth me and Andrew are at, what are we going to argue about? There were times when we were kickboxing where we didn't have money for food. We used to eat cans of sardines, and there have been times splitting our last can over plain rice. Mm-hmm. So now people are like, oh, it's weird that you share a house with your brother. I'm like, it's weird that you don't. I used to share my last can of food with him, and now we can't live in the same house. I've got 9 bedrooms. It's not like we're cramped for space. And otherwise, we just live in 2 separate houses with 4.5 bedrooms each. And drive to each other's houses every day? It wouldn't make sense.
Unless you owe a moral duty to that person, by which I mean, unless that person is your mother or your father or somebody who has helped you or somebody who has coached you or somebody who has taught you, don't go around trying to fix broken people. A mentor of mine has a saying, I don't fix broken birds. And what he means by that is, if you don't succeed, the bird's going to die in your hands anyway. And if you do, it's just going to fly away. Broken people are broken people for a reason. I understand certain levels of effort if you owe them, if you have a sense of moral obligation towards them. But if you don't, then honestly, don't waste your time trying to fix broken people. There's no hope for a lot of people in the world. And a lot of people in the world are never going to make it, and they're never going to escape the mindset that keeps them in the matrix. I'd network with better people.
What advice would you give to people who are just like chronic procrastinators? They're just not taking action.
Yeah, the advice is very simple. I have the perfect piece of advice for them. It's have fun staying poor. Have fun staying poor. You're never going to make it. I don't care. Because if you can't look at your Instagram and think, you know what, maybe I should get into shape. If you can't look at my Instagram and think, maybe I should make some money. And you literally, with all the inspiration shoved in your face nowadays, you are sitting in this luxury apartment in Dubai overlooking the ocean. Like, this is what we do. If you can't watch people like us, if you're watching this podcast and think I need to do something and you're a procrastinator, good. Mm-hmm. I don't care. Have fun staying broke. Because like you said, I need someone to wash my cars. I need people like you. So not everyone can make it to the top, and there's no help for those people who can't motivate themselves. If you can't pay your bills, it's hard to pay your rent, you're eating the crappiest food, you're driving the crappiest car, all the beautiful women in the world don't look at you, you can't afford any nice clothing, and you're sitting around thinking, just a few more hours playing Fortnite, then that's your station in life, and enjoy it.
People don't see the work. Me and Andrew, we're in good shape. I don't post training videos and, fitness progress videos. I just do the work and let the results speak for itself. In terms of money and in terms of business and success, that's Andrew. Everyone's like, well, how does he have all this money? Maybe he's a criminal, So how does he have all this money? I know why he has all this money. Because he's sitting right there at that desk at least 10 hours a day, even when we're not on house arrest. He'll be out in the evenings having his fun. And that's what we'll show to the world. This whole, hey, look at me, I'm at my laptop and I'm going to grind away for 6 hours. No one wants to see that on Instagram. No one wants to see that on social media. It's boring. They want to see you driving the Bugatti with a cigar in your mouth and a beautiful girl next to you. But that doesn't come without sitting at that desk for a good while first.
I said this to one kid. I said, you shouldn't waste your time playing video games. And he hit me with this stupid response. He went, PewDiePie plays video games. He makes hundreds of millions of dollars. I said, PewDiePie is not a video game player.
He's a skill.
PewDiePie is a presenter. He is a presenter. He's an entertainer. He's charismatic. He's smart. He's sharp. He's funny. He's a comedian.
You can play video games just as well as him, and you will be poor forever. It's not about his video game playing ability. It's about how he markets himself. So yeah, self-marketing is his talent. Yeah. More than anything else.
Well, yeah, it's the old saying of, you become the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. That's older than the internet. That saying it predates the internet. But essentially it means the 5 people who influence you the most. And if you do live alone, or if you don't have many friends, or you don't have a big group of people, what you're watching and what you're listening to influences you massively. So yeah, cut the crap out. Exactly the same with a healthy diet. It influences your health. A healthy mind is exactly the same thing. Scrolling up and down Netflix, watching trash all day is not going to get you anywhere in life, literally, ever. Whereas, you might hear a piece of advice in a podcast, in this podcast, that, makes you wake up and think, I actually need to get my shit in order. So yeah, be careful what influences you.
Let me tell you a good story about being kind to waiters and bartenders, especially in the city that you live in. It's an investment. Yeah. It's an investment to throw money around. I do it here in Dubai because I spend a lot of time here. I certainly do it in Bucharest. I was on a date with a Romanian celebrity. I'm not going to name drop her here, but famous girl, a few million followers on Instagram, etc. And the lights had gone out in the garden of one of the fanciest restaurants in town. So obviously being one of the fanciest restaurants in town, they put a bunch of candles on every table. So I was sitting there as the waiter was pouring our champagne. I said to the girl, I said, you know what? I specially organized this. I called my friends at the electricity company. I had them shut down the power grid just so we could have candles tonight. And she goes, hi, all right, Tristan, yeah, where's my flowers? As a blasé comment, because she knew I was joking. Yeah. She knew I was bullshitting. The waiter, good friend of mine, had been pouring the champagne, overheard this. No joke. 2 minutes later, he comes over with the biggest bouquet of flowers. He must have taken from behind from behind the restaurant. Mr. Tate, here are the flowers you ordered. And I sat there, straight face, ice cold, sip my champagne. 10 minutes later, I was like, you have to excuse me. I get up. I was just like, my man. I was like, no way. Did you just do that? So, and why? Why? Because I'm rude to waiters? Because I didn't get to know his name? Right. I've been eating at that restaurant for 2 years before that. I throw money around. I tip well. He knew exactly who I was. So, being kind to people pays dividends. Not only is it, do women notice it? Because they really do. Yeah. But, the staff notice it and they treat you better. And being treated with respect around women is a huge turn on for women. Mr. Tate, how are you? Let me just clear this parking spot. Sorry, we have no tables. Let me just put one out for you. Right. That's a huge turn on for women. And, you get that respect by being kind.